Good morning, my friends. I'm Clover, and I'm going to be solving a puzzle by Philip Newman. This was originally posted on March 3rd, 2024, and it is called Sequence Brick, which I guess makes it a bit of a spiritual successor to Sequence Break, which was the lovely Philip Newman classic Sudoku that we solved 3 days ago. So before I start, big shout out to Philip. I have been a bit unwell for the past couple of weeks. I'm doing a lot better now. Thank you again for all of your kind wishes. But when Philip messaged me the other day before I had woken up to tell me that he had done my recording that I was planning on doing for me with regards to the 1000 gas days celebration, I have not felt a sense of relief like that for quite a while. So kudos to Philip. Give him some extra love in the comments for picking up the slack on my behalf, and for making gorgeous puzzles for me to solve with you guys every 3 days. So this is a killer Sudoku. So we have standard Sudoku rules, so we're placing the digits 1 through 9 once each in each row, each column, and each heavily outlined 3x3 region. We also have killer cages. So those are these little dashed outline cages, and they each have a clue in the top left corner that tells you the sum of the digits in that cage. There is a rule in Killer that says digits in cages can't repeat. We're not going to be using that rule to solve today just because all of our cages are contained within one row or one column and or one region, so digits can't repeat there anyways. But in general, that is a rule of standard Killer Sudoku, so it's worth mentioning here just for the next one you solve. This puzzle has some really delicious symmetry to it. The thing that clues you into that is that we have these diagonally, rotationally symmetric pairs of digits that sum to 10. So 6 and 4, 2 and 8, 1 and 9, 3 and 7. It's not immediately obvious without looking closely at the cage totals that symmetry continues throughout the whole puzzle. I will spoil this a little bit and tell you that in this puzzle in particular, it does continue throughout the entire solve. And that is kind of nice because it means that whenever we get a move, for instance, up here in the top left corner, we're going to get kind of the mirrored version of that move down here in the bottom right. And it's funny because sometimes in harder puzzles, that feature gets some criticism because people will say quite reasonably, I feel like I only got to solve half of a puzzle and the other half just kind of fell out. I would rather have had there be additional tricky deductions. In Gas, though, I genuinely kind of like that. Just because I know that every time I work out something in one half of the grid, I immediately get this reward for doing that, where I get to take that same thing and reapply it in the other half of the grid. And also it speeds things up, so if you're going for the fastest possible time, then that's something where if you notice it early, that can give you a little bit of an edge. Let's solve. So in Killer, we have some favorite friends, right? So we have some 2-cell cages that only have one possible way to make those combinations. And we have 4 of them highlighted here. 3 is always 1 and 2. 4 is always 1 and 3. 16 is always 7 and 9. 17 is always 8 and 9. Those are worth remembering if you're going to be doing a lot of Killer Sudoku. This is also a trick right here that you will see relatively often in Killer Sudoku, especially in easy Killer Sudoku that's not trying to just fall apart immediately, but is trying to have kind of some gentle killer cage tricks to it, because we have a 1-2 pair here. This can't be the 1, this must be the 3. Same here, 8-9 pair, this can't be the 9, that must be the 7. And we also have givens here that tell us which way around the 3 cage and the 17 cage go. Now let's turn our attention to this 9 cage and this 11 cage, right? So we've used 3 of our low digits, and that's something to look out for when you have kind of a middling sum in a killer puzzle, like 9 or 10 or 11, is even if there are a lot of different ways to form that total off the bat, if you've eliminated most of the low digits, or if you've eliminated most of the high digits, often you can leverage that into figuring out quickly what the only remaining possibility is. Here we've used 3 of our low digits, 1, 2, and 3. 9 has to have a low digit in it, and the only remaining low digit is going to be 4, so this immediately has to be a 4-5 pair. Same reasoning, this is going to have to be a 5-6 pair. Now let's turn over here. We have a 1 in this region, so the 5 cannot be 1 plus 4, it must be 2 plus 3. There's a 9 in this region, so the 15 can't be 6 and 9, it must be 7 and 8. The next thing that caught my eye in this puzzle is this 6 cage and this 14 cage, because these are somewhat limited. They only have 2 possibilities each, but the more important thing here is that we are really narrowing the possibilities for low digits in this row at this point. This can't be 1, 3, 4, or 5, so the only remaining digit that can be part of a 6 sum is 2, so that's a 2-4 pair. Similarly here, this can't be 5, 6, 7, or 9, so that has to be an 8, and that's going to be a 6. Now let's take a moment and do a little Sudoku. These 2 6s give us a hidden 6 here. The 8 there gives us a hidden 8 in region 1. Similarly, these 2 4s give us a hidden 4 in region 9. The 2 gives us a hidden 2 there. And I'm going to mark these guys as a 1 3 pair and a 7 9 pair. And that lets me observe that if I look at 2 in this column, there's no 2 in those cells, so there's going to be a 2 here. That's the only place for 2 in the column. And correspondingly, if I look at 8 in column 9, can't go there or there, so it's going to have to go right there. Now these 12 and 8 cages are going to fall apart. I can't use a 3 in the 12 cage, so 3 9 is off the table. I can't use an 8, so 4 8 is out. So this must be 5 and 7, the only remaining way to make 12. I just happen to know that off the top of my head that there are 3 ways to make 12, just by virtue of doing a whole lot of killer Sudoku over the course of my life. But that's one of those things, again, where if you don't happen to just remember it, you can say to yourself, well, what does the low digit have to be? Can't be 2, can't be 1, because that would require another digit that's at least 10. Okay, so let's start at 3, and let's kind of count our way up and figure out what the possible pairs that sum to 12 are. Similar reasoning here. This is an 8 cage. Can't use a 2 or a 7, so this must be a 3 5 pair. It has to go that way around. Now that's kind of fun because that leaves us with 6 cells full in each of these columns. So the remaining digits here are going to be 1, 4, and 9 in the rest of this column. And 9 can't go in those 2 cells because of the 9's there, so that's going to be a 9. And then these need to be 1, 4 in some order. Here I still need a 1, 6, and 9, and I have 2 1s there, so the 1's going to go there. And then that will be a 6 9 pair. So let's turn our attention to our last 2 cages. So this 7 cage, let's start here. So 7, there are 3 ways to do it. 1 and 6 is out because this cell can be neither 1 nor 6. 2 and 5 is still in, it would have to go this way around. 3 and 4 is also out because there's a 4 in the column already, so we know that that's the only possible universe we could be in, is that 2-5 universe. So now let's do the same thing down here. We can't have a 6-7 sum. We can't have a 4-9 sum because we already have both 4 and 9 in this row, so this must be 5 plus 8 is the only remaining way. That gives us these 2 digits because we have 5s in these columns now. And let's finish with some classic Sudoku. So here we still need to place a 3 and a 7, which are going to go in those 2 positions. Here we need to place a 1 or a 3 to finish out this row, and there's already a 1 here, so that'll be my 3. That'll resolve the 1 3 pair, and it'll also resolve this. Similarly here I have to place a 7 or 9. Can't be a 9 because there's a 9 in the column, so there's my 7 and my 9. And that's going to resolve that 7 8. Beautiful. Let's finish these regions now because they're looking almost complete. So these are going to be 3, 4, and 9 in this case. This is a hidden 9, and then my 3 and 4 go there and there. I need 1, 6, and 7 here. There's my 1, 7, and 6. To finish this off, I still need a 4 and 8 in this row. I can pencil mark that for now. I need a 1 and a 9 here, which I don't have to pencil mark because I can do them using the columns. And here I need a 2 and a 6. If I move up here, I still need a 3 and a 7, which are resolved. And here I'm going to need a 6, 8, and 9 to finish this row. I have my 8 and 9 here, and that's going to take care of everything. And so I'll move back down in a moment to finish this row using the same technique. So I need a 1, 2, and 4 here. That can't be a 1 or 2, so the whole thing falls apart. Now I just need these sets of 3 digits. This one's going to be 4, 5, 9, and I can place all of those already. And these ones are going to be 1, 5, and 6, and I can place those. And that is how you solve Philip's sequence brick. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you next time.